Hello and welcome to the second look. This is Back of the Net. We're an AFC Bournemouth YouTube channel and podcast. So if you don't like watching, you can always listen. Hello, my name's Sam.
My name's Tom.
If you're brand new around here, there's a couple of things that you can do to help our channel grow.
Yes, click that like button, gets out to more people, so that'd be great. And you might as well subscribe while you're there. Click the bell as well and it'll let you know when every video's out. So yeah, do all that. We really appreciate it.
So look, we've been busy over the weekend. On Sunday, it was, right, wait for this, Foley versus Bowley. But holy moly, whilst Tiggs was eating some cannoli, it was a tale of two goalies.
That was really good.
Yeah?
I was really impressed with that. I mean, goalie.
Give us a like. That's what it's all about. But it was.
Absolutely.
Bournemouth drew 0-0 with Chelsea. And I came out thinking, I watched an exhilarating game.
Yeah,
a game full of chances. There was counter-attacking. It was exciting. Read the BBC report on my phone and it said it was forgettable and Bournemouth had a lacklustre start to the season. They don't get it, do they?
That's just very lazy, isn't it? Just it because I think it was the first 0-0 of the season in the Premier League. So I think everyone's kind of going, oh, not much happened there. When really, I've seen a lot more games that have been goals in and there weren't as many chances. And I think it almost felt, there's a few times, I think particularly if you watch highlights or match of the day or whatever, where you see like them nearly score and then we just suddenly break and nearly score ourselves. Like it was a bit like that. And I think really there were different reasons in the Brentford game, but I think in this one both teams would go, oh, we could have won that, but both teams would go, actually it was a decent point. But yeah, I think we'll get into it, but I think I said it on fan cams, mate, I think the big compliment for us was that I don't think they were desperate to hurry up or anything in their Chelsea. I thought we'd done enough to gain the point, but we probably didn't do quite enough to win, so I thought it was fair.
So we're pleased to announce that this season Back of the Net is sponsored by Green King Sport, where football is more than a game.
Green King Sport venues are showing every single televised Bournemouth fixture over the 23-24 season.
And with 900 sports pubs across the UK, it doesn't matter whether you're based in Bournemouth or Barnsley or
Burton.
You said that one before, do another one.
Burton, Bury, they've gone, no, Bury have gone.
It doesn't matter.
Does it, all right.
Yeah.
Bradford.
There he goes.
Birmingham.
Don't, mate, I'm going to ask you for a different one.
Okay.
Over the course of the season. But keep an eye out, of course, during the season for event offers, content and competitions that put you closer to the action. What were you live on Sunday, mate?
We were live on, was it Sky Sports on Sunday or was it TNT? It was Sky Sports, wasn't it?
Sky Sports. We were on TNT before.
That's right.
And then our Newcastle match has also been moved because of Sky as well. That's a 5:30 kickoff. But I suppose if you can't get to a game, mate, what's the best thing?
Just go to your local Green King Sports pub. They show TNT and Sky Sports games. So get down there.
Yeah, so goalless then, and Bournemouth steadily rise up that league table. It's a slow progression, but there it is on screen. You can see that lovely little green arrow there. AFC Bournemouth in 15th. We haven't got a win, and like we said, that's what some panellists and some so-called pundits will be focusing on the most. But I think most of us who are in that stadium and watched the game, or maybe you watched it on TV, you can see that under Andoni there is some identity and there is some progression as well. So there we go, we're in 15th, and also we've got the other 14 table as well, which shows we're in a good place on 0, which really doesn't mean anything too much, but we're as expected, put it that way. So Chelsea then, big spending Chelsea. Were you nervous on Sunday morning, or did you have a feeling that we could have a chance of getting something at them? Because that Nottingham Forest result surely gave Bournemouth fans a lot of hope.
Yeah, I was neither or really, because I felt like, as you said, the start of the season they've had and the Forest result makes you think, oh, you never know. Like you said, we know that we're playing pretty well. So I thought, you never know, this isn't a given for Chelsea. But equally on the other side, I think you always think with the quality they've got to click at some point. And I was wary that a little international break, people like Sterling didn't have to go, and you think, or might they have sorted a few bits out, who knows. So I wasn't sure really. It felt like typical with playing Chelsea this season. I wasn't really sure what was going to happen. So yeah, I was kind of going to it quite open. My concern, I guess, was that the results, the games they struggled with was West Ham and Forest they lost to. And I feel they play quite a counter-attacking style, low block, let the other team have the ball. And I was wondering if we could adapt enough to that, because we've been quite on the front foot trying to have the ball ourselves. So I think we adapted a little bit because of the opposition we had, but Yeah, I went into it very openly, and the game transpired kind of as I expected in terms of they weren't brilliant, but they're not awful. They've still got good players.
Now, I know that you've not watched the vlog yet, so I'm going to ask you this question that I put to Tiggs on the vlog because it was on one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in. So we've beaten Chelsea 4 times since we've been in the Premier League. We've only beaten 2 other teams more than that.
Oh, bloody hell.
Do you think you could name... I think you can because you're an encyclopedia of football knowledge.
Off the top of my head, let's go Swansea.
No.
Oh, damn it. Everton?
Correct.
Wolves?
No.
God, I need to hurry this up. Come on, Tom. Are they in the Premier League now? That's the only cue.
No.
They're not. It's not the scum. Leicester.
Yeah, there you go. Not bad. I'll give you that.
Got a little clue in the end, though, because I would have gone for all the Premier League teams.
And you know what? Funnily enough, Tiggs named some of the same clubs as well. I think.
Did he get there in the end?
He got there in the end. At the very end of the vlog, he finally got there. So yeah, we were playing a team that we're capable of getting a result against. This was the 11 that took to the pitch. I didn't manage to catch you before the game, mate. So I didn't. But I saw you afterwards, where you said you got 10 out of 11.
I'm getting fed up though. I mean, the last game, the reason I got one wrong was because Jane Anthony left the football club, and this one, Dango Batara comes in out of nowhere. I mean, how was I supposed to predict that? So I was quite happy in the sense that I made that kind of bold claim that I thought Kelly might come back in, which happened, and I felt that Tav would start when a lot were saying maybe Brooks. So yeah, I just had a feeling. But yeah, Dango, that was a nice surprise. And I think a lot of people have said, with the amount of time he's had out, he hasn't kicked the ball for us yet. It was a surprise selection, which I appreciate. But equally, I think the way Andoni spoke about how he wants his subs to make an impact and we're tiring out, it was probably better to start him and then have all them players on the bench rather than expecting him to make an impact off the bench when he's been out for so long. Yeah. So I didn't mind it. And yeah, you looked at our subs bench and he's like the strongest subs bench we've ever had.
Even Match of the Day picked up on it. And I think even Jermaine Jenas said that if you were to pick one that you'd want, you'd probably have Bournemouth's. And that was so strong. Look at that talent. I think obviously it was helped by Justin Kluivert's performance in the end, because you're looking at that name. I think his name probably has a reputation where we haven't really seen that much of Justin really, but there he showed himself on a big stage and he did really well and made such an impact. But yeah, you have a look at those names and that's strong. And the players that we can't even put in there.
Yeah, Mepham and Moore both get onto their subs bench comfortably, and then you obviously realise that you're without Ryan Fredericks, but you're also, more importantly, without Tyler Adams and without Alex Scott still. I think, looking at that bench there, Chelsea, 2 of the ones I brought on, I think you'd obviously say you'd probably rather Chilwell than say a Smith, and then you'd say Cole Palmer maybe over Traoré. But apart from that, ours is comfortably a stronger bench. And yeah, and that's, as much as Chelsea got injuries and stuff, that's still very positive from our point of view, that you look at that subs bench, and we'll get onto it, but I thought it was noticeable, I said to you off air, that this was the first game where I felt we ended strong. Because I think in the other games, which is understandable with the new philosophy and way of playing, we've tired.
So you're saying that once we've made the changes, we look stronger?
It's the first time I thought we've ended the game just as likely to score as the opposition. When all the other games, about the Brentford one, they scored late. I always felt like they were the ones on top in the last 10.
And all the substitutions were like for like as well, which I think was really good.
Apart from Celesi with moving Kelly across, but I know what you mean,
yeah. But you look at the Chelsea injuries, they have got some players out, haven't they? But then, we have as well. I know it's different levels. However, I was quite happy with that. And it was quite interesting. Chris Temple talked about on Twitter the media narrative that's been painted on by some people on AFC Bournemouth, the fact that we haven't got a win. But one thing he did say on his tweet was that I will say that broadcasters from 5 Live, Match of the Day, World Feed, they took the trouble to speak to local media people, including him, to get some perspective beyond the headlines. And actually, Match of the Day, they did this sort of 2-3 minute segment before the game as well, talking about Andoni Iraola with Gillian Balaguer and others as well, where they sort of put it into context a bit. And they said, Bournemouth fans, they need to keep the faith. But we've not got that problem.
No,
we've not got that problem. It's everyone else.
Yeah, I think, a lot of people point that out because obviously we always joke about how little time we get on Match of the Day. it was match of the day 2, Sunday, when there's only 2 games. So if you don't get a little bit of a segment on that, because they do a lot, I always think that the analysis is a lot longer because only 2 games to go through. So yeah, take it with a pinch of salt to a degree, but yeah, go on.
And also, they're only allowed contractually on match of the day 2, they're only allowed a maximum of 10 minutes of highlights.
Yes, okay, so they have to
Per
fill
match.
it with a lot of talking.
So that's 20 minutes of it, so they have to.
Yeah, of course. But yeah, I think that was a nice little inside bit of info there from Chris Temple saying that people are trying to work bits out, because I think really the same people that are saying, oh, Bournemouth not good, haven't won in 5, if you had told them individually to predict them 5 scores, they wouldn't have predicted us to get 3 points. No chance. So we're doing better than, I think individually in them games, no one would say 3 points. I think we've done better than expected. It's just a shame that they're all boxed together in a big load.
But what's mad is that if you put Andoni Iraola in a job in any club with a large fan base or top 6, you just know that the media would be writing these narratives.
Yeah.
And it would be he would be like talk of the town. He would be number 1 of the next manager to be sacked list, which is absolutely bizarre. But alas, we all know that good things are happening. Are good things happening with the pre-match atmosphere, Tom? Because I'm struggling. I'm struggling with this. And look, I appreciate they're trying new things, but I got into the ground quite early because it was absolutely slashing it down. We've got nowhere to drink at the moment. The Great Escape, obviously, it was chucking it down, so we couldn't drink out there. We can't go to the toilet out there, but I think, unless you go into one of the stands. King's Plaza's nearly ready, although there was some leakage down one of the sides of one of the tents, so not sure what they need to do for that. I'm sure those problems will be sorted. So we decided to get in nice and early. In the south stand where I was, we'd get a lovely coffee. No alcohol, of course, but Tig's got a cannoli cream thing. So it's the first time I've really been able to absorb what's going on. Raising of the flag, what's this?
You got to tell me about this, because I missed this.
So Mike Botto introduced it. And he said, okay, so we're now going to get an AFC Bournemouth legend to raise the flag. It was almost like some kind of symbolic gesture. Yeah. Let's raise the flag. I think the flag was, I couldn't actually see where it was. I've got a feeling it was between the main stand and the Ted Mac. But the actual flag got caught halfway up, so it couldn't actually get raised. And then in that DJ booth, there was Paul Williams playing the drums, playing the Great Escape, just as the teams were running out to the pitch. They were also drumming during the game as well. So you've got the North Stand drummer, you've got Adam Woodland in the Ted Mac as well doing his drumming. And then a third drummer as well, that's like an official drummer. Yeah. And they were even focusing the camera on Paul as well. It feels like they're forcing it a little bit. And arguably, I would say that the best atmospheres that we've had at Dean Court is when none of this happens.
Yeah, I want to caveat it all with kind of, you can't moan that, because you've seen a lot of people kind of moaning that the atmosphere is so flat, and then when they try things, say, well, that's crap as well. Well, they've got to try, it's got to be a bit trial and error. But for me, I don't think it worked at the weekend. I thought the drumming, I felt for him, because you say Paul it was.
Paul Williams, yeah.
Doing the drumming, and then I don't know if you heard it, because it didn't quite get going, fortunately. But when he come on the screen, the Bournemouth North Stand started singing What the F and L Is That. Because it looked a little bit embarrassing as a Premier League club. But as I say, I'm happy for them to trial these things and go, right, we've tried that, right, we've seen what the fans said, that didn't work, move on, let's try something. I get it, I do get you've got to try, because otherwise everyone will go, we're not doing anything. So it's difficult, it is difficult.
But they're changing it so often that none of the stuff can stick, and I just hope that, I mean, it's clear that The Killers seem to be a favourite in terms of a song, although the timing of it means that the song was fading out as the team was just walking onto the pitch to nothing, the sound of nothing but fans. And, you know, like I say, arguably, we've got some incredible things like Nonny, all that kind of stuff. Have to keep the things that work, and they are trying different ideas. The main thing as fans we can do is sing our hearts out, but we don't, and it's starting to really grate. Even in the Ted Mac, where they certainly give it a go, it was a bit disjointed at times. Hopefully, when we get a new stadium, we can all be together and sort this with some safe standing as well, eh?
It's difficult because I'm in the North Stand, obviously, and you've kind of got two groups of singers. You've got one's directly at the back in the centre, and then you've got kind of that far left corner. And what ends up happening is one of them will start a chant, so then the other ones will try and follow, and they'll be a little bit behind. So then it doesn't work because they're not singing at the same time, so it doesn't sound loud. It's difficult. I always put it into context that go to all the away games, and I find it very rare that there's a good home atmosphere. I think people that don't go to away games think we're really bad. Compared to most of them, we're just bog standard. You know, we went to Brentford, that's normally pretty good not long ago. That was just as quiet, if not quieter. I think there was a spell where we put a bit of pressure on in that second half, which happens going at the North Stand and got a few corners and stuff where everyone was, and it was okay. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't 0-0. It would have been. I do think if we got the lead and stuff like that, we would have been trying to get them over the line. It is what it is. But I think there's going to be a lot of trial and error at the moment, mate. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But it's not the worst in the league. It's just
I like that from you. You know what? Whenever you need a measured view, Tom Jordan's your man. I thought I'd never say that. But anyway, let's talk about what happened on the pitch, because we've spoken too much about off it and we're already, 16, 17 minutes in, which is madness. But look, let's get onto it. And it was an energetic start.
Yeah, it was.
It really was. One thing that was quite handy for us was that Raheem Sterling was booked early doors for dragging down Solanke. I think Chelsea had a chance and then we broke, and then he cynically fouled Dom, which sort of made me think, he might be a little bit cautious for the rest of the game now. He probably had one of the best chances to score the game. Well, we hit the woodwork with it. But it was a game full of energy, mate. And that first half especially, chances for either side. It was great.
Yeah, it was two teams that kind of went for it, went toe-to-toe. I liked it in the sense that, previous Bournemouth teams would have sat off and gave Chelsea probably a bit too much respect, that no disrespect to them, they don't deserve, because they're not flying. So you got to go for it against them. And I thought it's always nervy, because in transitions, if you get caught, we haven't got the type of defensive midfield player that will stop them, kind of maybe cynically, but so it means that it looks bad, because it looks like they're going to break on us at every moment. But I felt that then as soon as we got it, we broke on them. So it was exciting. It was end to end, and as you say, from the start of the game, I thought, well, there's no way this is 0-0. So it was mad that it ended 0-0. But it was an energetic start, probably from both sides. I was enjoying it, and then I felt like there was a spell probably just after the 10-minute mark where they seemed to get a little bit more of control on the game, and we had to ride a few moments out, didn't we? Yeah,
Jackson had a low strike. It reminded me of a similar move to one of the pre-season games that Clivert had, running in exactly the same direction, hit the low side of the left-hand post, on the outside of the post. It didn't really trouble Neto whatsoever, and it was a very tame shot. So yeah, that went wide. It sort of led me to think, if he had scored, would he have celebrated? Because
he wouldn't have cared.
He was our player pretty much.
And the best thing was the Bournemouth reject when he missed, singing Bournemouth reject. But I've got to be honest, because we've all said, we missed one there because looks good and had that run at Villarreal. I thought he was a donkey.
Yeah.
He runs. I don't know what you thought. He runs around and he's all right. There's no way he's as good as Dom Solanke on that performance.
He had that shot in the second half where he practically fell over and slashed it wide. There was a header at the second half that I didn't intuit in his defence. I don't think he knew much about it, but it just kind of hit him on the head and fell kindly for Neto.
I will confidently say that Solanke will score more goals than Nicholas Jackson this season.
I will clip that up. But just imagine, just referring to back what I was saying, because when he had his medical, just imagine though, had he scored and then he celebrated like...
Yeah. I'm a ball player, sorry.
Get off.
Yeah.
Get off. But you know what? It was end to end, and Ouattara, mate. I mean, it's funny. You watch it back on the TV, and Match of the Day doesn't even capture it properly because it was such a quick free kick. I think it was Lewis Cook's idea.
Yeah, and Christie.
Put Christie in, who just squared it right across, whether it's planned or not.
Yeah.
And then Ouattara at the far post. I mean, it was difficult. It was travelling relatively fast. He could see an open goal, so you could see why he placed it there, but Sanchez just got across so quick. In hindsight, he might have dinked it.
Yes.
He might have cut back on his right foot, a la Spurs or something. I don't know.
Yeah, or Brooksy against Brentford in the last game, where he just kind of he knows the keeper's coming, so he just stops it.
Yeah.
And but I'm not gonna. I think everyone's said it that obviously it's unsurprising, but Dango was probably the only player that didn't have a great game, really, because of the amount of time he's had out. But I don't put too much on him for that chance. I think it's one of them in that split moment, you just hit it, and that could easily just fire in. Yes, hindsight, different things, but he done everything right. He done really well to make that run at the back stick, to be fair to him. So yeah, it was one of them. I wasn't thinking that was an absolute sitter he missed, but looking back on it, you think, that's a chance. Yeah. And Christie does really well to pull that. Yeah, but it's knowing that Ouattara's coming in the back stick, I think that's a good sign that you've got a winger that's arriving late like that. I think that's important.
one of the things that I just felt during the performance, I know that it was a bit end-to-end and there was a really good ebb and flow to the game, but I thought Bournemouth, I sort of said this in the title of our fan cams, I thought we were controlled though.
Yes.
How can that be when they had quite a few chances? And so, I don't know, it just felt like we did have a control that we maybe didn't have at Brentford.
Yeah, I probably agree with that. I think that they've said it a few times, like it's like organised chaos, because it doesn't look controlled because it's so basketball gamey, but in the way that we are being set out to play, that's going to happen. We've got to accept that if we're going to buy into Andoni and the way he wants us to play, we're going to give up opportunities. But like I say, I think that he said it after the game himself, that that's the most polished we've looked in terms of what he wants us to give. I think that the players all seem like they're in their right pockets, they're in their right places where Andoni wants them to be. And yes, you're going to get caught now and again, but I felt that as soon as we then got the ball back, we were ready to go, which shows that, okay, that's how we're trying to do things. Yeah. And it helps when I thought the back four in particular and the full-backs were, as much as we're giving up chances, they're always back there, they're working their socks off. And there were some big performances out there, I thought.
When you actually look, if you look back through our second looks, or even have an app like SofaScore or whatever, where you see the average positions, you'll see them on screen now. I've noticed for each and every game, they're almost identical in terms of our average positions, which show that the players have got a philosophy that they are adhering to, and it's great to see. And the substitutions that he's making, depending on how the game goes, I think at Brentford when we had substitutions, it was a bit more defensive, obviously with Meps coming on.
Yeah.
But then you could see with the substitutions on Sunday, on the whole, it was like for like, and I thought it was really good. Now, one of the players that I want to mention at this time, we're doing it sort of chronologically, but we need to obviously just mention things as a whole. There was a really great block from Lloyd Kelly when Raheem Sterling, who he was a menace yet again, Raheem Sterling. Obviously, we'll talk about his free kick in the second half, but Lloyd Kelly, one of many players who I think could have been named man of the match. We'll talk through your own thoughts a bit later on about who was the man of the match, but Lloyd Kelly,
brilliant.
What a good performance.
Oh, delightful.
And you said on the fan cams that is why Spurs were looking to part with £20 million for him, because I thought that was so good. So. And I said on the preview, I really want to see a big performance from him, and we had it.
As soon as I saw the lineup, I was talking to Richard Mark Jackson, and I was saying that I'm just desperate for Lloyd to have a good game here, because of obviously all the murmurs that he's left out of the squad, and then you go, should we have sold him, do we keep him, blah, 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 blah. And that's what you want to see, and I hope he kicks on from that. Because in my opinion, like I say, it's just an opinion, I think that Lloyd has that now and again, and then he'll have 2 bad games. He doesn't seem to, and I've always caveated it with the fact that with different managers, sometimes he's left centre-back of a 3, then he's centre-half, then he's left out, then he's full-back, and that must be difficult for him, then he picks up injuries, blah, blah, blah. But I've just always found that Kelly, he's got them performances, it's just not consistent. Yeah. Because next week he'll go and make a blunder, etc. But in this game, honestly, I thought he was incredible. I thought everything he did was pretty flawless. I think he had one misplaced pass, but apart from that, I thought he was really good with the ball as well. When he went later on in the game to fullback, which I was a bit concerned about, in the sense that if you played centre-half all game and you've got your foot in, to then move out to play against a pacey winger, I thought he was brilliant. Yeah. And he actually bombed forward well as well. So yeah, really, really pleased for him. And I hope that, that's a big, as much as Neto, as we'll come on to a bit more, and a clean sheet in general, after we've questioned Neto at the start of the season, that was massive for Neto and that was massive for Kelly.
Yeah.
I thought them two individually, that performance and that clean sheet could be huge for them too, and obviously for us in general.
I really hope it is. And after the game, we recorded the fan cams, and then we sort of headed over to the main entrance where the players were coming out. And one thing I have to say about Kelly is that he looked the most relaxed I think I've ever seen him leave the stadium or leave a ground. Because sometimes he looks like he's thinking about something, he's overthinking, but he was just chilled, he was doing selfies with everyone, and he looks like a man refreshed. And I think that Chris Temple in his one of his tweets, again, I'm referencing you, Chris, all the time, if you're watching, bet you're loving this. He's put all the contract talk behind him, said Chris.
Yeah, just focus on the football.
I think, just focusing on the football, and that's one thing that I think is huge for him. He hasn't got the burden of the captaincy anymore. This now, I think, is his chance. And on that performance, if he's doing that, it's sort of every so often, we're looking at like Nathan Ake fees if he
Yeah,
goes.
yeah, or if we can, tie him down to a long-term deal.
so.
But yeah, listen, it's one performance, but it was a very good one. I think there's been lots of talk about kind of criticism that he's received. Mainly, I always think was up down to that Burnley game in the Cup last season, where he got a bit of booing and whinging and stuff from the fan base. And we talk about it a lot with kind of fans, songs, and atmosphere. Blah. This man, we need to show him the love, so we need to get him a song out of everyone.
Yeah.
He needs a song. He needs to know that we love him.
Between now...
Yeah, I don't think you're ready for Lloyd Kelly. I don't think you're ready... I'll just come off the dome. No, I think we need to think of something for Lloyd. I think we just need to show him that, he's not being ostracized by the fan base.
Yeah.
We'd love him to sign the new deal. And it always makes a bit more when they have a song sang about him and stuff. I'd love to get one for Lloyd, but yeah, absolutely delighted for him. As with Neto, who makes some big saves as well, mate.
And look, just one more point about Lloyd. We have criticised, and even we've criticised him, but it's mainly the frustration at knowing how good he is.
Yeah, that's the main point. I think.
If he wasn't that good and he was putting in these performances, then yeah. But of course, I think he was sublime. As was Neto. Big save from him. Conor Gallagher. He got some space in the Cherries box and he managed to... I thought he was going to shoot earlier than what he did.
Done quite well actually.
He shifted the ball onto his right foot, but strong save from Neto. Should he have palmed it out to somewhere else, or was it so point blank that he just was happy to get anything on it?
I think that's when you notice things about watching things live and in the stadium. You know where I sit and I'm right behind that. And it's weird because when I've watched the highlights and on Match Today and stuff, I think, it's kind of straight down his throat, he saves it. In real time, watching it, I think, how has he got down and got a big hand to that? So it's weird, isn't it? I thought it was an unbelievable save. It's not an unbelievable save looking back, but what it is to get down that quickly is impressive enough. But he's in it quite hard. That could easily just take his out and go in. One out, that's a real strong risk there. So yeah, really, really pleased with that save. I'm not going to say he should have palmed it anywhere else. I think the shot was pretty strong, but yeah, pleased for Neto because he's had a bit of a shaky start. So he looked full of confidence again, leadership from the back, always shouting, and then everything that he was asked to do, I thought he was faultless.
Chelsea fans were getting a little bit frustrated towards the end of the half. They were shouting attack, 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 and they did sporadically. But once again, I felt like Bournemouth were just in the mood for it, and they looked the more likely, even though the stats may say one thing, that they had more possession, more passes, I think more shots by about 1 or 2 in the end. We'll have a look at the stats on screen now, actually, for the whole game. But there you can see how it panned out. You can see those stats on the AFCB.co.uk website. But in the second half, there was another shot on target, and it was from our nemesis, the man who we put in a silhouette. Like, if we stop this guy, we win. Well, we sort of stopped him.
Yes, I think later in the game, obviously, we'll talk about this free kick chance that he had, which was a big moment. But what I will say is, I thought he started on one side, didn't get much joy, so went to the other side, and we pocketed him again. I thought, don't get me wrong, he's always going to cause problems. We've done a bloody good job on him. Both fullbacks were brilliant on him, I thought.
Maxi Aarons, mate.
Oh, he was sensational. But Sterling is always going to be a threat, even if you do a good job on him, of course. And he was. The free kick the technique's perfect, nearly. And I mean, it's close, isn't it? It's close to get over the line. But we're very lucky that Colwell's just a little bit too eager. You watch it back, and he's just a little bit too eager. Just runs off Aarons too early, doesn't he? So he was offside.
That's now twice in not 2 weeks because we had the international break, but that's twice where the ball has gone behind Neto, and you're just thankful that he didn't get any touch on it.
Yeah.
Because do you remember at Brentford that happened,
went
where it went from one post onto the other?
Yeah.
He did so well to avoid it, and he did the same again. Any touch, and that'd have been in. But yeah, we were lucky. Thankfully, the flag went up straight away because at that point, I just thought, oh no, here we go. This is. But you know what? We have to ride our luck.
Yeah, and I want to say we don't want to look like we're kind of bemoaning our luck all the time. But yes, fixtures have not been good. Yes, decisions we don't seem to get many. Yes, we've got a lot of injuries, but bloody hell, the woodwork's been good this season, hasn't it? It has been good. Brentford and Chelsea, the woodwork. I think the Jackson one was something to nothing. It was just a drag shot. But again, woodwork saved us there. It was great technique from Sterling. But it was a harsh, actually looking back at it, I think it probably just about was, but I only saw it on the replay. He nearly got, I don't know if he touched the ball, Aarons.
A lot of people near me were suggesting it was never the lad to my right. I don't know if he... I should have got him on the vlog really because he spoke so much sense during it, and I should have got just a quick chat with him at half time because I thought he was great. But he was adamant that Maxi Aarons got a little touch on it, but it was one of them that was just very... I think it was very similar to the penalty that Villa had against Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
I think
true.
Almost. It was one
Bit
of
of
those
both.
50-50.
Yeah.
A different ref would have let it go on.
Yeah.
I think the ref actually did well during the game as a whole. I thought he was all right.
Yeah, I thought he was okay actually. It wasn't any. Yeah, I did think he was all right. I thought he made the like you said earlier. He, as soon as we counted, he didn't say, "Oh, it's your first one." He just booked Sterling straight away. I thought he was pretty fair on the whole. To be honest with you, but there was no like major decisions. I thought it was quite a end-to-end game that all the fouls felt quite obvious. They was just trying to stop breakaways but like you say, dealt with it comfortably and thought he looked very cute.
We had a couple of chances. Lewis Cook had a shot on his right foot. Tavernier nearly repeated what he did against Fulham with that, where he cut in on his left foot. But alas, it cleared the bar as well. And then we started to make a few changes as the half went on. 3 different substitution windows. So Justin Kluivert for Dongo, that we know that he had a poor game. At half time, I think on the vlog, I commented that I didn't actually think it was too bad. The second half, I think he did fade massively, but that's probably a fitness thing more than it. And he's so young as well. But Kluivert came on. That's the best performance that we've seen from him.
Yeah.
And also some other changes as well with Marcus Senesi for Kirkes. We know that Lloyd Kelly shifted, as Tom said earlier. And then Tavernier, I thought, had a good game as well for Sinistera as well. Obviously, we know that Brooks came on later, but those changes affected us for the better, I thought.
Yeah, they did. I nearly looked like a genius for the people around me because I said, it's a banker. The first sub is Dango Batara's coming off on 60, and it was 62, I think. Ooh. But but all of us around me, myself included, said, I'm surprised it's not Semenyo. Why is he bringing on Kluivert? Because I haven't seen enough from Kluivert to think he would make as much of an impact as Semenyo. Yeah. That's why I'm not the gaffer, because Justin Kluivert was incredible when he come on. Everything good. They made a really good little bit of analysis on Match of the Day. Yes, they did. Where they said, I don't know the exact stat, you have to look back on it, but Solanke's touches in the box, he had like 1 or 2.
He had 1 in the first half.
Right, and then when Kluivert come on, he had like quadruple that.
Yeah, so in the first half he had 1 touch in the box. In the second half he had 12 touches in the box, 9 of which happened, when
Kluivert was on the pitch.
Which
says it all, and
it just unlocks.
What Kluivert did really well, as I felt, was just that. When he was getting the ball, obviously he wants to beat players, he wants to drive at people, as we know. But he always looked like he was looking for Dom. He was looking for them runs. Dom was making more runs because he thought, I can get it off him. He started on the left, then went over to the right. And I didn't realise he could do both sides so well. He's got a good. You don't know if he's going to cross it or try and beat you. So I think the defenders were a little bit not sure. And I actually think, as much as people say, he's just a good player, that's why they brought him on. I actually think they brought Chilwell on because they were a bit worried. Yeah. Because Kluivert went to that right side and then they brought Chilwell on. Yeah. I think they were thinking, he's caused us a few problems here. So I thought he was brilliant. And then, Tav was never going to play the full game either. And so made that change. Sinisterra and Brooks didn't really get into the game, but they didn't do anything wrong either. I thought Senesi, which I don't think enough people have spoke about, that block is a stunning block. I think that makes a really good save. Done a really good save.
Well, there's a few moments in the second half where there's pinball going on and Nesso clears, but the one you were referring to,
they call for handball.
They did. It was nothing.
And there was also the one where he makes a rash decision to jump in, Senesi, but then he gets up, wins the ball back, plays Dom in, and we nearly score. And you think that Brentford game, it was his ball to Dom. Yes. Senesi is good at that, and I'll tell you what, it's weird that bringing on a centre half, mainly I think because Kirk has got a yellow. And moving Kelly across actually nearly helped us up the other end because the block he made, we broke and nearly done something on that as well. So great options to have. Like we've alluded to plenty of times in this video, it's the fact that we've got a really strong bench to call upon now. You think someone's tiring, you can change it. And he seems like the same sort of ones because Christie just runs himself into the ground, so he kind of has to come off. I wonder if it's interesting that I think I understood bringing Brooks on. He's had a good week, international week, done really well, coming on against Brentford and against Swansea. But as part of me in that role, I wonder if Traore is more suited to that role than Brooks. Right. Brooks likes coming off that right, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
I think in that 10 role, I would have quite liked to have seen Traore, but I understood why Brooks come on.
Yeah. Has Justin Kluivert, is he left-footed or right-footed?
Yeah, I believe he's right footed.
Yeah, because
He
there
likes
was
to play on the left and cutting in.
that chance where he sort of cut in from the right hand side. He sort of played it forward. I think it was what led to the free kick could have been a pen. But I just thought, could he have hit it with his left?
I think it's because he's right footed. Yeah.
It felt like it was opening up.
But then, to be fair, he was going to just square it, just play it straight through to, was it Dom or Billin, or one of the two, I think. And then the player makes the foul, which was, it was close, but it was clearly outside, to be fair.
Free kick was deflected a bit
hard
wide.
free kick. You could see Billin. I noticed it on the highlights because he's like gutted, and you see when you watch the replay back, he is so close to getting it through Gallagher's legs.
Yeah.
And if that goes through his legs, bottom corner, and that's what he's trying to do, and it just clips his heel. So very unlucky from Billin. But you're never going to get up and over from there. So I understood the hitting it low.
Can we just talk about Dom Solanke a minute? Because Dom did have a number of chances. There was that one that was, I think I said it on the vlog or fan cams or something, not dissimilar to Brentford, where he almost uses a man as a shield. And it fell nicely for him, and the keeper just sticks out a leg. But then in the closing stages as well, where Clivert, brilliant, he sort of lofts a ball to him, and you just think, take it first time. He doesn't. He takes a bad touch because it goes out of play. But there are some people, and I think it's, whilst we're waxing lyrical about how happy we are with this style of football, there are some comments which I think we should maybe refer to about the fact that we're not potent enough in front of goal. I think that Sky, one of the pundits on Sky, was saying they're not too sure where the goals are going to come from, which I think's, I don't know, I don't quite subscribe to that theory. I think Dom has shown that he can hit the back of the net, but do you think sometimes we just need a little bit more quality up top, or was it just one of those games? It was wet, the pitch was slick.
I think
everyone was taking extra touches during that game.
I don't think there was a chance that Dom, most people would score it kind of thing. I thought the one that you were saying where the key makes a really good save his leg, he does the right thing in my opinion. Sends the keeper the wrong way by trying to put it back in that near post, and the keeper does well. The other one is, if that happens in the first half, I think he either controls it better or, as I agree, hits it. I think he's knackered, and I think when the ball comes over, he takes a lazy touch. He just dangles his foot at it. But yeah, I think what people don't realise, I think you'll appreciate what I'm saying here, is when you don't think of it because they're defensive players, but when you get, like, say, a Tyler Adams available, for example, what that allows you to do is move Billin up. Yeah. And if Billin's up, because Billin at the moment is having to play a bit more, he's had to play a little bit deeper because of the fact we haven't got anyone else. So Billin's not in his preferred role, and we all know he's a top goal scorer last season, that Billin scores goals. But we have to play him deeper because of the options we've got. Once we've got Tyler Adams as an option, then you could quite easily in games just move Billin up, have Adams and Cook behind, and then suddenly Dom's got Billin next to him, and we know there's evidence that Billin scored good goals. Yeah. I think Cliver already shown a little cameo that he could be lively and get a few goals. We don't know about Sinisterra yet. Dom will get goals still. We don't know how many, but he will get goals. I think that Semenyo's already shown in little bits that he'll get goals. Brooks will get goals now he's fit. Tavernier will get goals.
I just one of the things that's frustrated me, there have been a number of times this season where we've had chances where the ball's been on the byline and it's cut back. And do you remember, like, the goal that Billing scored against Liverpool?
Yes.
He's about 5 yards deeper than that, and we just need that player to naturally get in that position.
And that kind of goes straight back into my point that I think Christie, is brilliant as I think he's been, by the way, and he loves him because of the press he does. He's not that type of player. We know that. We know that's the reason Ryan Christie's playing for us and not a top team, because he gives so much off the ball, is because he hasn't got their numbers and he doesn't arrive in them positions. Yeah. But Christie couldn't do the deeper role, in my opinion. So that's the point. But like you say, when we get the ball to the byline, that is where Billing's really good at arriving late. Yeah. And because of the fact that Billing's having to be a little bit more disciplined, I think you'll start to see games where Adams comes available and Scott, and you've got more of a natural double pivot. Yeah. Billing and Christie will almost rotate them positions of one will start, one will come on, blah, blah, blah. So I think that will help us.
I think the way it was, because obviously Justin Cliver was on the right-hand side in that moment where we sort of all thought maybe Solanke should have half-volleyed it. And Solanke was trying to time his run, but so he was looking to the right, so he was running quite awkwardly. And when that ball comes in, if he's going to hit it first time, he's got to wait for it to go across his body. Yeah. And he's facing almost the wrong way. And sometimes you can get the cleanest contact with your instep and it will just go completely the wrong position. Yeah. And it was one of them where I just think, with the slickness of the surface as well, with the wet, just everyone was taking extra touches, I thought, throughout that game. He just wanted to set himself up. It didn't quite happen for him. And I think someone mentioned on the commentary, Simon Brotherton said about, a confident striker would hit that first time, or Jermaine Jazz. I don't know.
I think a fresher striker, I think if that's first half, he might. But I agree, I think...
Dongo might have if he was in that position.
Yeah, I kind of get the point, and I probably am kind of 60-40, 70-30 on the fact that he should have tried it first time. But equally, I think Dom Solanke, if he makes that touch perfectly, as he normally does... He brings that down and probably scores anyway. And you go, that was the right decision to bring it down. It's just, he just doesn't quite see it. He doesn't quite watch the ball all the way. And yeah, it is what it is. But it's not an easy chance. But yeah, it's probably, if that comes earlier in the game, maybe the result's a bit better.
Do you remember that, Jamie, I don't know who it was against. I want to say either Oxford or Swindon, where a ball was played over his head.
Who?
James Hayter.
Oh, James Hayter.
Did I say James Hayter or not?
You said James and never said surname. Yeah.
That's leaving it very open.
Yeah. James Keane, I thought.
The ball was played over the top of him and he took a touch and then he just finished it really not. I think it was like Swindon or Oxford.
Can't remember.
It was like a great, and it was one of them where Dom couldn't quite see the ball coming over and had to look at multiple things.
So he's not quite James Hayter, is what you're saying?
He probably lost his bearings a little.
Get that.
All I'm saying is if Dom scores a 3-minute hat-trick, then we might be able to mention you in the same breath.
Could Dom lead the line for Bournemouth Manor as James Hayter is right now?
Well,
Who knows? Who knows?
So, man of the match then. I mean,
tough, isn't it?
There were several.
Well,
I think Sky Sports had Lewis Cook.
Yeah, like that.
I don't know what AFCB's come out of.
It looks like, I'll quickly check while you're chatting, but I'm pretty sure that it was bloody close. Well, but who would you, because I think, like you say, Lewis Cook, obviously Neto got it from the sponsors.
Yeah, Neto got it from the, and look, judging by the fan cam reaction, there was people waxing lyrical about Lewis Cook, Lloyd Kelly, Maxi Aarons deserves a shout. I think that Dom Solanke got a mention because of his work rate on Match of the Day. Not a player of the match type thing, but they singled him out. And there were others as well that could have easily been mentioned, including like Ryan Christie, etc.
Anyone, yeah.
But go on.
Well, yeah, it's very interesting because, out of the four, you've got, this is how close it was, 17%, 24%, 25%, 34%.
Okay.
And it's not the sponsor's man of the match, it wasn't Sky's man of the match, it was my man of the match. Max Aarons won it on the Twitter poll, which I don't know if you agree, but if I had to, I think it's very difficult if you can make a case for so many, as you said. I think even people that go under the radar, like Zabani, who I thought was brilliant, but for me, I would have just pipped it to Max Aarons.
He got up and down so well, and he just looked like he'd been playing there for Bournemouth for ages.
Yeah, and you could say what you want about Mudryk, who hasn't worked for Chelsea so far. He is rapping, he didn't look it against Aarons, and then they switched Sterling, and Sterling didn't get any change out of him. Yeah. I thought he was sensational, and chatting to Chris, who we've obviously had on the channel when we signed him from Norwich. And obviously Stacey got the winner for Norwich, and he messaged me saying, "Thank you for Jack Stacey's a Rolls Royce." And I just replied to him again, "Thanks for Max Aarons." He said, we're both buzzing.
I'll get out.
Yeah, we're both buzzing. But honestly, this guy, we got him for so cheap. He is so good. He is so good. I love him. And I found my Jefferson Lambert replacement as my favourite. It's been difficult, and I've been toying with a few. Max Aarons is my boy. I love him. He's my boy.
And you know what's really nice for us at the moment? We've got two fullbacks that we absolutely adore. And look, Kirkes also deserves a mention. I think that Ollie actually on the fan cams put it really well. And I think Ben Boszak, who we chat to, the Hungarian football expert, said that he'll put in the hard graft. And there are some games where he might not be up to his usual levels, but he'll still be a solid 7 out of 10. And he was that. And I thought he was great as well. There are a few times that Sterling managed to get the better of him on the byline where he managed to cut it back, etc. But equally, there are a few challenges that Kirk has put in that were great. And I just love that tenacity and enthusiasm about him.
Yeah, I do love it. And the fact that he gives us already, the same happened with Hungary. I think that once he kind of gives so much that kind of latter stage of the game, he does come off sometimes. So I understood the sub actually at the time. When you've got someone like Senesi available and Kelly can play there, it made sense. But you're totally right that Kirkes plays brilliantly, but he's that good that we don't really mention him because it's already, I expect it from him. Yeah, he's 19 years old, and I already think, well, that's just Kirkes, isn't it? Yeah. He's probably the best left back I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not on the Back of the Net community, we've got a little app called Telegram. It's not our app. We just use Telegram so basically anyone who contributes to Back of the Net on a monthly basis to help support us financially via our Ko-fi, which is at afcbpodcast.com/Ko-fi. Details are at the bottom of the screen there. If you want to donate as little as £3 monthly, we'll give you early access to certain shows, we'll give you exclusives, and also Tom's player rating show that drops after every game.
Yeah.
And 12 minutes of just enjoyment.
Yeah.
This morning.
Yeah, I think so. I think I alluded to it in there that I think apart from Dango, but it was expected that he was never. It would have been a shock if he was just, or you know what I mean, all singing, all dancing, Dango Matara. He's only just come back and he still worked hard. I think apart from that, I thought everyone had a really, really good game. To be honest, and even that, you know, we've already mentioned the subs that made the impact, but I was just. I tweeted after the game. It's just so nice. I mean, 0-0 for God's sake, but I was just so nice to watch a game of football and felt like I couldn't blink. Like, it was so enjoyable. We were going for the win. It would have been so easy, and I would have almost understood it to go, let's just keep the point here. This is a big point. But we just kept going. It's just, I'm just really enjoying watching us.
So statistically, what do you think who scored had as the man of the match in terms of the stats generated?
I wonder if because of his saves and the clean sheet that Neto might.
Let's have a look. There we go.
Yeah,
you are
Neto.
bang on the money with 8 points.
And the next best player was Sanchez because of the saves they both made. And as you said, mate, it was Bowley v Foley and 2 good goalies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get that because I was thinking statistically wise, he made saves and didn't let the ball in the back of his net. So, and I kind of get that. I think Neto deserves the plaudits because we've given him a bit of constructive criticism lately because I think he's been at fault for a few, but he was brilliant. That's the best way, him and Kelly in particular, best way to answer any critics. They were both superb. And as I say, I thought everyone was really good, mate. And it was just, I don't know if you agree, but I just enjoying watching us. Yeah. And we haven't won a football match.
That's the thing. I think
I'm just enjoying it.
Alex Deutsch, I saw him tweet something. You know what? He felt as though, maybe we could have got the win, but he's now going to football and enjoying it. And I think we're all feeling the same. Yeah, honestly, yeah. I'm really enjoying it, and it's just. Yeah, and it's an identity that we can all subscribe to.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
And I think what you always want, you mentioned it very briefly about the kind of average positions and stuff, that it's all quite similar every week, which shows they're buying into his ideas. But also I think there's very slowly, because it's obviously very early in the season and there's a small sample size, it will get better from game to game to game. Great. That Brentford game I thought we'd done really well. It was an open game. You could see a lot of similarities in the Chelsea performance in terms of it was a bit basketball matchy. Yeah. But we didn't end the game very strong because I felt we ran out of steam, didn't have the bench. This time, that's the best we ended the game.
So if you're enjoying what you're watching, get behind the lads. So we don't have to rely on raising the flag to create an atmosphere or any of the other stuff they do. Let's get behind the boys. And look, Brighton on Sunday, absolutely huge for us. It really is huge. And look, if we can get something against them, you never know. There's always the possibility. I've really enjoyed that, Tom.
Yeah, loved it, mate. And looking forward to the next game already. And then we've got a midweeker in the Cup, fancy Cup run. It's all good. We're going to get that win. It's just around the corner. It won't happen on Sunday. Or will it?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Thanks for watching Other Chairs. And we'll see you at the next Premier League shows tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about Lloyd Kelly. Let's talk about Zabani. I've lost the rest. I'll try and think. See, we can get that going.
We'll back out.
All right, I'll note some stuff.